The number two is actually the fact that women are exposed to utter fucking shit online with regards to
Yeah.
nutrition and training, right? It's definitely the number two issue: ineffective training programs and ineffective diet strategies. And that's by virtue of both individuals preying on these individuals, these other individuals that are looking for fat loss. Like they're like, oh, here, have this cabbage shake diet, right? Or like, here, follow my, fitness plan. And it's like, this is actual crap, right? The only reason it works for you is because you are the genetic elite, and you have favorable fat distribution and favorable bone structure, right? So like ineffective training programs and ineffective nutrition protocols, probably the number two reason that women have a much harder time with fat loss. That's not to say that men aren't exposed to other crap online as well. For sure they are. But by virtue of the fact that, for the last, whatever, we'll say 70 years, like lifting weights and getting manly and jacked has been seen as a male endeavor. Like there is better information there. And then also in the field of like nutrition and stuff, a lot more research has just been done on guys. And because of by virtue of the fact that a lot more guys stay in like structured athletic endeavors, like sports and whatever else, for longer throughout their life. Like I think it's like the average dropout or the stopping of exercise for women is 14, something like that, or around that age. And so if you're a guy and you're going through your formative years and you've been on a football team, and they get like a nutritionist to come in every so often, and you're getting exposed to hopefully better information from a more reputable source, like you end up with a more educated culture, population, whatever, of the individuals that get that. So that is something to be aware of. And especially if you are a woman, like you probably know your friends, are the nutrition knowledge that they have is purely by virtue of the fact of whatever they've been exposed to in random magazines that they follow, or random fucking accounts, whether they're fitness accounts or just other women that they follow that are like, oh, I like her style or what she stands for or whatever else. And they might know absolutely fucking nothing about nutrition or training or whatever else. But by virtue of people asking them, being like, what do you do for your body or whatever, all of a sudden they're giving nutrition advice and training advice, and it could be utter fucking slop, right? So that's the number two reason that makes fat loss harder for women. The societal, it's not even expectations, the societal structure has led to women being less educated with training and nutrition. Now, the great thing about this is over the last number of years, let's say the last 10 years, this has changed a huge amount, right? Like I remember, like I, finished secondary school in 2010, getting old. And like at 18, like literally I could probably count on less than two fingers the amount of girls I know that went to the gym, and if they did go to the gym, they probably only did cardio. They might have only done a spin class, maybe some Pilates or yoga or something like that, right? Like it was never, ever structured resistance training. Now, obviously, this is just an Irish experience. It could be different across the world, but definitely in the last 10 years, a lot more women have gotten into like properly structured resistance training. A lot more women have gotten into like properly structured diets and nutrition protocols. So it is definitely changing. However, we still have that legacy of like, if you were born before, I don't know, whatever fucking, I don't know, 2000, you probably have been exposed to absolute utter crap online, and even offline as well. And then also you have to go through a lot of fucking crap to kind of find out what is effective if you are a woman, because there are some differences between men and women in terms of what we have to do, nutrition, training, etc., whatever, right? So that's the number two reason for me that fat loss is harder for women.